Hi, welcome to another English lesson with Traveller's Guide. These videos are designed to help you with your English proficiency test, such as IELTS, TOEFL, IGCSE, Pearson, Cambridge English, or any other English language proficiency test. Press the thumbs up if you like the video, subscribe to the channel for more like this, turn on the subtitles, and leave a comment. In this video, we're going to be looking at confusion words. Confusion means you get mixed up. So we're looking at pairs of words that have a similar meaning or a similar pronunciation and that people often make mistakes in. So this can help you to use your vocabulary correctly, maybe learn some new words as well, and this can help you increase your score in whatever test you're taking. The first set of words we're going to look at deal with pronunciation. Let's look at some examples. First of all, we have snake and snack. So the first one, snake. This is a long, thin animal with no legs. And here the A in the middle makes an A sound. Compare that with snack. This is a small item of food you might have as a treat or between meals. And here the A sound is an A. When I was working in China, one of my students said to me, "Oh, you need to go to Snake Street." And I said, Snake Street? That sounds like a terrible place to go. And they said, no, I mean Snack Street. So you can see how the pronunciation can change the meaning. Next, we have cafe and coffee. Now this is confusing because the word coffee is sometimes pronounced cafe in other languages. But in English, a cafe is a small place where you would go to buy some food or a drink, and coffee is the name of the drink itself. Here we have moth and moss. So this shows the importance of getting the TH sounds right at the end of the word. Moth is like a kind of almost like a butterfly that comes out at night. Moss is the small lumpy green plant that grows on roofs and wet areas. Moth, moss. Next we have desert and dessert. So desert is a large dry area, often very sandy. Here we can see some camels in the picture. Dessert is a sweet treat you have at the end of a meal, usually the final course. Desert, dessert. Next we have pilot and pirate. These are two jobs, but they're very different. A pilot flies a plane, whereas a pirate lives on a ship and steals things from others. Pilot, pirate. So the L and the R are the important points here. Next we have word and world. This one is very difficult. So a word, just chosen any random word there as an example. World, another word for planet Earth. The L in world is almost silent, but it changes the overall sound a little. Word, world. Next we have internal and eternal. They sound very similar, just the beginning is different. Internal means something is inside, whereas eternal means it goes on forever. So internal, eternal. And some people say eternal, some say eternal. Either one is okay. Then we have smile and smell. Okay, these are very similar sounding words, and the pictures explain them quite clearly. So just be careful with the ending of the word smile, smell. Here we have celery and salary. Again, very similar sounding words. They're spelled differently, but the C and the S make the same sound. The only difference in the sound is the first E compared with the first A. Celery is a vegetable. Salary is the money you get paid for your work. Then we have nature and natural. So there's a picture of a waterfall in the woodland. Nature is a noun, whereas natural is an adjective. The difficult part with pronunciation here is that the first A changes sound in the different forms of the word. So in nature, it's an A sound, whereas in natural, it becomes an A sound. nature, natural. The next set of confusion words deal with spelling. So this is important for writing. Sometimes people spell the wrong word. Let's look at some examples. Here we have 3 words that are spelled similarly, but people often get the wrong one. So we have custom, costume, customer. A custom is an activity that happens traditionally, perhaps every year. Costume is a set of clothes that you wear to look like something else, and a customer is a person who buys something. So custom, costume, customer. Be very careful with your spelling, because if you write the wrong one, your meaning will be changed. Next we have weather and weather. Now these sound almost identical, but the spelling is important. This is where we can make mistakes. Weather describes the climate outside, whereas weather is a choice between one or another. Then we have quite and quiet. Again, they sound similar. People often get these mixed up when they're writing. So quite is like a little bit, whereas quiet means not loud. You probably know the meaning of the words, just be extra careful when you are writing. Then we have choose and choice. Choose is a verb, choice is a noun. So you choose something, for example in this picture, choose a key, and choice is a noun, so this would be my choice. The pronunciation is a little bit different and the spelling is different. Then we have massage, message. Okay, people quite often write M-A-S-S-A-G-E when they mean message. So I often see this on Facebook. It says, send me a massage. But massage comes from the French and it means to rub someone's body as part of a health treatment, whereas message is when you send someone a short note with some information. Next we have breath and breathe. The difference here is that breath is a noun, whereas breathe is a verb, and breathe has an extra E on the end. And this example is a picture of someone swimming. It says he took a deep breath and dived into the pool, and then I can breathe better when the air is clean. So don't say I can breath, because breath is a noun. Make sure you have the E on the end if you're trying to say breathe. Then we have your and your. Now this is a very common problem. Even native speakers make mistakes here. So the first one, your, Y-O-U-R, means belonging to you. For example, what is your lucky number? Whereas your, Y-O-U apostrophe R-E, is short for you are, as in you're fired. So just think about this when you're writing and make sure you write the correct one. Next, college, colleague, collage. These words, as you can see, are all spelled very similarly, so we have to take care. College is another word for a university, or it could mean an educational facility just below university. Colleague means someone that you work with, and a collage is a collection of pictures all together. The third one especially looks like it might be pronounced college, and people often write this one when they mean the first one, whereas colleague is a difficult word to spell. Sometimes people write the first one when they mean the second one. Next we have maybe and maybe. So when you say maybe, is it one word or two? The first example, maybe as one word, means perhaps, possibly. Yes, no, maybe is the example. Whereas maybe and two words, this means it could be or might be. So be is a verb here. There are lots of words that could be one word or two, so be careful when you're writing these. Then we have abroad and aboard. These two words are anagrams. They have the same letters in them, just in a slightly different order. Abroad means in a different country. Aboard means on something, usually a boat. And the last set we're going to look at are words where the meaning often gets confused. So the first one, we have fun and funny. So if something is fun to do, that means you enjoy doing it, you take pleasure in this activity. Whereas if something is funny, it makes you laugh. For example, this picture of a chimpanzee laughing, that picture is funny, and also he thinks something is funny. They are both adjectives, they can both describe activities, but just remember, fun is something you enjoy doing, funny makes you laugh. 9, we have bought and brought. Bought is the past tense of to buy, brought is the past tense of to bring. But sometimes people get these mixed up. Next, we have habit and hobby. A habit is something that you regularly do, perhaps without even thinking about it, something that's out of your control. It's usually used in a negative way, but you can have good habits as well. Whereas a hobby is an activity that you choose to do regularly for fun. For example, painting is a hobby. A bad habit might be biting your fingernails, like the picture, or people say smoking is a bad habit. And both of these sound a little bit like the word hobbit, which was a movie or a small fictional person. Habit, hobby, hobbit. Then we have test, text, and task. Right, these are often mixed up. So a test is where you show off your skills or abilities and someone will give you a score. Whereas text is just a word for some writing, some words that are written down, a piece of text. Or it could mean a text message when you send someone some words. And task is just something that you have to do. It's like a challenge, or it could be part of your job. So for example, if you're doing reading practice, they might say read this text. That means look at the words, and then they might say do this task. So a reading task might have some questions that you have to answer, whereas if it is a reading test, you will then be given a score or a grade, and you'll be marked on your answers. Whereas a task is usually not marked, it's usually just for practice. Next we have cook, cooker, and chef. Now I often hear people say, my mother is a good cooker. But cooker is actually the name of the machine that does cooking. So we can see there's an oven with a hob on the top. That in the center is a cooker. This is confusing because many jobs end in ER, but cook does not. Cook is also a verb, the verb to cook, but you can see in the first picture that this woman, she is a cook. Now, if you do cooking as your job, if you're a professional cook, you would use the word chef. So a professional cook in a restaurant is called a chef. If someone just cooks at home for themselves or for a hobby, they are a cook. Next, we have dangerous and endangered. These words are often mixed up because they sound like they should mean similar things, but in fact, a dangerous animal is one that might hurt you. For example, there's a picture of a dangerous dog. He looks very angry, he's got big teeth. Not all dogs are dangerous, but this one could be. Whereas endangered means that there are not very many of them left. So that animal is in danger of becoming extinct. For example, the panda. Although actually pandas are increasing in numbers, so I don't think they are endangered anymore. Sometimes it can be confusing because you can get animals which are both dangerous and endangered, such as a tiger. But if you're using this word, make sure you use the one that you mean. Then we have health and healthy. Health is a noun, healthy is an adjective. So you can say this food is good for my health, or this food is healthy, or I want to be healthy. Don't say it's good for my healthy. That's not right at all. And similarly, we have memory and remember. So your memory, this is a noun, whereas remember is a verb. So you can remember some memories from the past using your memory. These can often be a bit tricky with writing as well, and there is no such word as rememory. That's not a word. Memory, remember. And here we have image and imagine. So an image is a picture. It could be a photograph or painting or something. Whereas imagine means you can see a picture in your mind. On this slide, the small girl is imagining a dragon. She's reading a book and she can see a picture in her mind. She's using her imagination to imagine. You may be able to imagine an image in your mind. But remember, image is a noun, imagine is a verb. And finally, we have voice and sound. So, voice is when humans make a sound when they are speaking or singing. That is their voice. Whereas other things such as musical instruments, vehicles, even animals, they make a sound. It's not necessarily their voice. It can be confusing. For example, if you're watching the TV and someone is speaking, you would say, turn up the sound or turn down the sound or volume. But you would not say turn down the voice, even though it is a person's voice that you can hear. You're talking about the sound of the TV. And some people may use the word voice to talk about animals or birds that can speak, for example. But generally speaking, voice is for a human person speaking or singing. Sound is for a noise made by anything else. Well, that's an introduction to some confusion words. I recommend that you write down new vocabulary that you meet. You can also write a pronunciation guide and a translation into your own language, and maybe an example sentence, as well as the part of speech, noun, verb, adjective, etc. Keep a list of new words that you find and review them regularly. Hopefully, this video has given you an idea on some new vocabulary, how to use it properly, and how not to get mixed up with other similar words. I'll have another set of confusion words soon, but thank you for watching. Remember to press the thumbs up, subscribe, and join me again next time for another video. Goodbye.